So today is the glorious appearance day of Advaitacharya, and it is a fast day, half a day, in honor of his appearance. Okay. And so we're going to speak about Advaitacharya today a little bit. We only have a half an hour. So, Om Ganat Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakya Taksur Unmeditam Yena Tasmai Shigurve Namaha. So, first, philosophy. So, of course, Advaitacharya is a member of the Panchatattva. Panchatattva means the five personalities who appeared in this world. Lord Chaitanya and his associates. We have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, Advaitacharya. We have Gadadhar Pandit Goswami and Srivas Thakur. So these five personalities, amongst the five personalities, three are Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva means they are God. And all of them, those three Vishnu Tattva personalities, are non-different from each other, but exhibit a different aspect of the personality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Mayanya. And then, after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have Lord Nityananda, Balaram, Hoila, Nitai. So Balaram has appeared as Lord Nityananda, who is the original spiritual master, Nayamatma. Nobody makes any spiritual advancement without the mercy of Balaram, Nityananda. And then, of course, we have Advaitacharya. So Advaitacharya, very interesting tattva of Advaitacharya, because he's considered to be Sadashiva and also Mahavishnu, and also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is this, not also, but he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So oftentimes people become confused about this designation of Sadashiva, because ordinarily or normally we hear that Lord Shiva is different than Krishna. He's Krishna who glances at the glances in the form of the Mahavishnu, and that glance is Shambhu or Shiva. So we think oftentimes that, one shouldn't compare the demigods, with, and Shiva, in one sense, demigod, but not an ordinary demigod, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Sadashiva, according to the question I asked Gopi Pranadana Prabhu many, many years ago, because I had this same question, he said, Sadashiva is a Vishnu Tattva expansion of Krishna in the spiritual world. And from that Sadashiva comes Mahavishnu. So that was how Gopi explained it to me. So he is God. Advaitacharya is fully God. And he also has an appearance in the Braj pastimes. He appears as a cowherd boy, according to the Acharyas, as well as what's called the Dikpal. He expands as the Dikpal, or the protector of the Holy Dham. What that means is that each and every location in the Holy Dham, there's a expansion of Lord Shiva. Of course, Lord Shiva expands as an expansion from Lord Vishnu. There's an expansion of Lord Shiva who protects the Holy Dham, like there in Vrindavan. There is Gopishwara Mahadev, in Radhakund, of course, Kundeshwara Mahadev, and actually you have four protectors in Radhakund in the four directions. So, and the word Advaita means, according to the Acharyas, non-different from the Mahavishnu. So as far as his biography is concerned, some people say that he appeared in Srihat, others say that he appeared in Shantipur. And Shantipur is, of course, a very famous place. It's known as his home base. His father's name was Kubera Pandit, who was considered to be an incarnation of Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods. And his mother's name was Naba. And he appeared in a Brahminical family. It's called a Borendra Brahmana family. And generally, most biographers say that he appeared in the year 1453, and he left this world in the year 1558. So that, if you calculate it properly, that's 125 years he stayed, because he was far older than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was in this world after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world too. So before he was born, his mother, whose name was Naba, we mentioned before, heard a divine voice predicting his advent. And also, she had a dream in which she saw this particular deity called Harihara. Harihara means a combination. If you go to Sridham Mayapur, one of the places in Sridham Mayapur, they worship Harihara, a combination of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. So, as soon as he was born, he was given the name Kama Laksha. I mean, someone who has beautiful lotus eyes. So before he was married, Advaitacharya revived the son of the king at the Kali temple, and then he offered obeisances to the Kali temple, and the deity split. So there's some story, actually it's told by Japataka that if Advaitacharya offered obeisances to any deity that wasn't there, the deity would split. Anyway, there's several stories like that told by Japataka. So anyway, eventually Advaitacharya got married. He had 2 wives. One's name was Sita. That's why in this poem that we read before, he's called Sita Pati. It means the Lord of Sita. And Sita is considered to be an expansion or an appearance of Yogamaya. And his other wife was named Shri, who was an expansion of Yogamaya. So he performed many miracles when he was young. One miracle that's mentioned in some of the biographies is that he was asked by his teacher. This is from the book called the Advaita Prakash. His teacher asked him to get a lotus flower from the Ganges. In this particular location in the Ganges, there were a lot of snakes and there were a lot of thorns. So it really wasn't possible for someone to wade into the Ganges to get this particular lotus flower. So according to this story, he walked on top of the Ganges and got the lotus flower. After the disappearance, of his mother and father, he went to Gaya to perform this Pinda ceremony for his forefathers. And then after that, he went on pilgrimage. Also at Gaya, he met Shripad Madhavendra Puri. And as he was traveling around, he didn't take initiation at that time. He took initiation later from Madhavendra Puri. So as he was traveling around, eventually, he arrived in Vrindavan. Okay. And in Vrindavan, he discovered this deity named Madan Gopal, who later on became known as Madan Mohan. And after he discovered this deity, and he left Vrindavan, he gave this deity to a Brahmin family in Mathura, and they were from the, Chobe caste. And later on, of course, Sanatana Goswami discovered this deity being treated like a family member in the Chobe family. In other words, the deity would sit at the dinner table with the rest of the family and eat instead of being on the altar. And of course, Sanatana Goswami said this is not proper. And so the deity said to Sanatana Goswami, "You've ruined all my fun, so now you have to take care of me." And so eventually Sanatana Goswami took care of this deity, and the deity was Madan, became known as Madan Mohan. So as he was traveling around India too, he found a particular literature called the Ananta Sanghita. And in this Ananta Sanghita, there was a description of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is actually before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world. So in other words, it's Advaitacharya. Of course, he's the Supreme Personality of God, and he knows everything. But at the same time, he voluntarily accepts this, it's hard to say, forgetfulness or under Yoga Maya. He gets into the role of not knowing about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then it's revealed to him in this Ananta Sanghita. Eventually he goes back to his home in Shantipur, and in Shantipur he defeats a Digvijaya. A Digvijaya is someone who goes around challenging everybody to debates, and he actually initiates this Digvijaya in Krishna consciousness. Actually, some of these things are out of sequence, because actually later on he takes initiation, not later on, before he took initiation. And also in Navadvip, he met Madhavendra Puri and took initiation from Madhavendra Puri. Because Madhavendra Puri eventually left this world in Ramuna. So in Shantipur, also when he was living in Shantipur, he had these pastimes with Haridas Thakur, because he recognized that Haridas Thakur was actually the best of the Brahmanas in spite of being born in a Muslim family. So he gave Haridas Thakur the Shraddha plate. What is the Shraddha plate? The Shraddha plate is given to the best of the Brahmanas when you are commemorating the disappearance of some relative. Of course, Shraddha is the ceremony, and the plate is a plate of prasadam that's given to the best of Brahmanas. So he respected Haridas Thakur, and he took care of Haridas Thakur. At that particular point, Haridas Thakur was living in a cave in the Ganges. And in these caves, these are like crocodile caves. That's how the caves came to be. So he was living in a crocodile cave in the Ganges. And of course, there's stories about a snake in the cave and how the snake left when Haridas Thakur's followers didn't want to go see him because of the poisonous breath of the snake. So anyways, and then eventually he went to Navadvip and actually got a house there in Navadvip, and he opened up a Sanskrit school in Navadvip. While he was there in Navadvip, it's described in the biographies that he initiated Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. So he became the guru of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. So in other words, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parents had Advaitacharya as their guru. And so there was this relationship already there. So he initiates them in this 4-syllable Gopal mantra. Observing the degradation in the age of Kali, and of course the philosophical degradation that was taking place, philosophical and Siddhantic deviation that was taking place in Bengal, he started to cry out to Krishna and started to worship Krishna, praying for Krishna to come down to this world, and he worshipped Krishna with the Ganges and Tulsi leaves. Eventually, when Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra's son Vishwarup was born, that's Lord Chaitanya's brother, Vishwarup, when he got older, would go daily to visit Advaitacharya and hear Krishna Katha from Advaitacharya. Of course, Lord Chaitanya at that particular time was just a little tiny child, and sometimes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sent by Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra to bring Vishwarup back home for prasadam or for some other purpose. And when Advaitacharya saw this little boy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Gaura Sundara, beautiful golden one, Advaitacharya became overwhelmed with devotion for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, eventually Vishwarup took sannyas, and Sachimata blamed Advaitacharya for actually teaching him renunciation. And she blamed him for doing that without her knowledge. So she considered Advaita to be Dvaita. That means two-faced. And because of that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered her consideration, or even her verbalization of that particular understanding or misunderstanding, to be an offense, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not grant love of God to his mother when he had his Mahaprakash Leela, and he was granting love of God to everybody. You know, the devotees asked, isn't Sachimata going to get love of God? And Lord Chaitanya said, no, she's committed an offense against Advaitacharya. So, of course, she's the mother of God, and this is a pastime. So she took shelter at the lotus feet of Advaitacharya, and Advaitacharya also touched her feet. And then Lord Chaitanya said, she can have love of God. Another famous story is about one day Advaitacharya was asked by some Brahmin, who was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master? And Advaitacharya answered, Keshava Bharati. Of course, Ishwara Puri too. Keshava Bharati was the sannyas guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Advaitacharya's little son, Achyutananda, chastised his father. He said, how can you say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a spiritual master? In other words, he's God. Because God is the original, he's the Adi Guru, the original spiritual master. And Advaitacharya was very, very pleased with his son, even though normally a son is not supposed to chastise the father, especially in Indian culture. So Advaitacharya became very, very pleased, and everyone was amazed at Chutananda's great erudition and realization. Later on, Advaitacharya, who had 6 sons, rejected 3 of his sons because 3 of his sons were not, at least in the Vaishnava, same Vaishnava path as Advaitacharya. Some descriptions say that they were impersonalists, but I don't know the exact details. But they weren't followers of Advaitacharya and his teachings and Lord Chaitanya's teachings. And because of that, Advaitacharya considered these 3 personalities not to be his sons. Sometimes people think that's extremely cruel. Extremely cruel. But it's not that he starved them to death or anything like that. But in a spiritual sense, you know, it's not that he just like kicked them out of the house and said, you know, you go fend for yourselves. But as far as spiritually, he didn't consider them to be his sons. Another interesting story told in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also in the Chaitanya Bhagavat is Advaitacharya desiring to have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu get angry with him, because as we've heard, Advaitacharya was initiated by Madhavendra Puri, and Madhavendra Puri initiated Ishwara Puri. and Ishwara Puri initiated Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, so we could see that Advaitacharya would be considered like on the level of the grand spiritual master, or godbrother, actually a godbrother of his spiritual master. So a godbrother of the spiritual master is generally given the same respect as the spiritual master. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was continually respecting Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya didn't appreciate that because he considered Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be superior. And as a result, he came up with this whole plan to teach this yoga vishishta, and we're going to read the excerpt from this right now, in order to make Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu angry with him. So here is the story. All right. So to execute his plan to have Lord Chaitanya get angry with him, he went to his home in Shantipur. To further the plan of his heart, he began to study. Wrapped in ecstatic love, he became like a wild man. Preaching the philosophy of impersonalism, he began to give lectures on the book Yoga Vashishta. He said, without first accepting the philosophy of impersonalism, devotion to Lord Vishnu has no power. Impersonalism is the life of all spiritual activity. Impersonalism has all spiritual power. Oh my God. Not understanding the truth of impersonalism, people leave the wealth they have at home and go to the forest. Devotion, this is even more offensive, but it's spoken to get Lord Chaitanya angry. Devotion to Lord Vishnu is a mirror, and impersonal philosophy is a pair of eyes. How can a man without eyes look in a mirror? I've studied all scriptures from beginning to end. In this way, I've understood that impersonalism alone is the true teaching of the scriptures. And we're going to, maybe I'll go through this a little quickly, but Haridas Thakur heard this and he started laughing very loudly because he understood the intention. So Lord Chaitanya, who is like a kalpavriksha tree that fulfills all desires, in his heart understood Advaita's desire. One day, Lord Chaitanya was happily walking in the town, and Lord Chaitanya, I'm skipping over it a little bit. Lord Chaitanya said to Lord Nityananda, let us visit Advaitacharya's home in Shantipur. Then they walked on the path to Advaitacharya's home. Actually, I'm not going to describe the whole interaction with the Shakta householder here, in which Lord Chaitanya asked, what is happiness, and it was actually liquor. So anyway, okay, let me skip over this portion. So, it's a long part of the story here. And Lord Chaitanya ran away, and he and Lord Nityananda jumped into the Ganges, and basically swam to Advaitacharya's house. So Lord Chaitanya, on his way to Advaitacharya's house, said, Nada, which is the name of Advaitacharya, broke my sleep, in other words, prayed for him to come down to this earth, and brought me here. Now he hides the truth of devotional service and preaches impersonalism. Today I will see him with my own eyes, I will punish him. Today everyone will see what happens to the impersonalists. Roaring in this way, Lord Chaitanya swam in the Ganges. Remaining silent, Lord Nityananda smiled within his heart. Okay, let's skip over a little bit. Understanding the Lord is coming with great anger, Advaita preached impersonalism more wildly than ever before. Accompanied by Lord Nityananda and his face filled with anger, Lord Chaitanya went to see Advaita preaching impersonalism. Advaita happily swayed to and fro. Seeing Lord Chaitanya, Haridas Thakur offered obeisances. Achyutananda also offered obeisance, Achyuta. In her heart, Advaitacharya's wife offered obeisances. She became very worried. Lord Chaitanya was brilliant like 10 million suns. Everyone felt fear taking birth in their hearts. His face filled with anger, Lord Chaitanya said, Nara, look at impersonalism and devotional service and tell me, of the two, which is better? Advaita replied, impersonalism is always better. Unless one is impersonalist, how can one attain devotional service? Hearing Advaita say impersonalism is better, Lord Chaitanya became enraged. He forgot the external world. Dragging him from his seat, Lord Chaitanya raised his fist and struck Advaita. Understanding everything, Advaita's devoted wife, who was the mother of the worlds, became agitated. She called out, he's an old Brahmana! An old Brahmana, spare his life, spare his life. By punishing him, who do you teach? What more will you do to this old Brahmana? Why can you not leave him in peace? So frightened, I'm skipping over a lot. Haridas Thakur became frightened and meditated on Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya did not hear her words. With angry words, he rebuked Advaitacharya. I slept on the milk ocean. Then you, Nara, woke me to fulfill your mission. You brought me here to teach devotional service. Now you are hiding devotional service and teaching impersonalism. If you wanted to hide devotional service, if that's what it's in your heart, then why did you bring me here to teach it? After thus rebuking Advaita, Lord Chaitanya sat down by the door. Then, speaking in a loud voice, he revealed, this is actually spelled wrong, the truth about himself. And he says, I was the one who killed Kamsa. You know everything. All, Brahma, Shiva, Lakshmi, they all serve me. My chakra killed the jackal Vasudeva. My chakra burned Varanasi. So he's describing everything he did. Here I'm skipping over a little bit more. Attaining this punishment, Advaita became filled with bliss. Now humble and submissive, he clapped his hands and danced. He said, as I offended, so I was punished. The Lord was good to me. I only got a small punishment. Now I know that you are my master. You punished me for my misdeed. Lord, in my heart, I now have the strength to be your servant. Speaking these words, Advaita joyfully danced. So I don't have any time to tell more of that story, but there's quite a bit here in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So let's continue with our description. So then continuing with this description, I got a lot of things, and we only have 3 more minutes. So anyway, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he took sannyas, he was misled by Lord Nityananda to go to Advaitacharya's house. And at Advaitacharya's house, we witnessed this wonderful pastime between Advaitacharya and Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda said to Advaitacharya, I'd hoped to break my fast, and you have not even given me a morsel. And Advaitacharya called Lord Nityananda reject Paramahamsa, and Lord Nityananda threw some rice down that hit the body of Advaitacharya, and now Advaitacharya said, now I'm becoming crazy like this madman here. So much information here. Oh my God. I wish we had more time. So, and Lord Chaitanya would be visited by Advaitacharya every year during the Rath Yatra festival time, actually 4 months of the year. And it was Advaitacharya who gave the final message to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to leave this world. He sent this message through Jagadananda Pandit, and the message is as follows. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. Further tell him that those now mad and ecstatic love are no longer interested in the material world. Also tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the one who has become a madman in ecstatic love, Advaitacharya, has spoken these words. So here in these words by Advaitacharya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resolved to leave this world. And as far as Advaitacharya's disappearing from this world, he disappeared also by expressing pain how people were not properly respecting Lord Chaitanya. So he was in Shantipur, and all the Vaishnavas came. Lord Dvaitacharya was crying out, "Where's my Gauranga? Here he is." He entered the temple of Madan Gopal, it was a different Madan Gopal, in Shantipur, and he disappeared from this world, entering the temple of Madan Gopal. So Dvaitacharya ki jai. So it's a fast day, happy day today. All glory is to His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Ako Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Kriya Vriti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Tiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi Purusham
Namago Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Samani Namande Namaste Bhagavati Devi Gauravani Bhajane Nivesesha Shunyavani Paschachat is a Day Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Say Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Rama Hare, Rama Rama Hare, Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Advaita Jaya, Jaya Advaita Jaya, Advaita Jaya, Jaya Advaita Jaya. Advaita Jaya, Advaita Jaya, Advaita Jaya, Advaita Jaya. Radha Gokana, Radha Galokana, and the Dragate. Radha Galokana, Radha Galokana, the Dragate. Radha Galokana, Radha Galokana, the Dragate. Jaya Hey. Rate, rate, rate. Shri Radhe Jai Om Vishnu Pad. Shaima Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuram Ki Jai, Jagannath Goswami Ki Jai, Ki Jai, Shiva Vilasi Devi Ki Jai, Saveda Bhakta, Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Harimo. All glories and all glories. All glories.
Jana Bhavagnavaniniva Paranam Sriyakaraiva Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavada
Jivanam Anandam Budivardhanam Pratipadam Pranamrataspadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahutani Jasarva Shaktis Apitani Matasmaranena Kala Etadrashita Bhakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishanihana Ninanuraga Trinada Pi Sunichena Turohiva Sihishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadishikamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Adhai Chagichawaye Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishame Bhavam Buddho Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Sitadoli Sadrazam Vachintaya Nayanam Galudashu Daraya Vadanam Gadgada Rudya Gira Ulaka Nishatamba Pukada Tavanama Grane Bhavishyati Yugayitam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravishaitam Yaitam Katsarvam Govinda Hirainame Asli Shiva Pada Panashtumam Adarshanam Amritam Karotava Yatata Vavadatu Lampato Mat Prananatas to Seva Naparaha. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone, and render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard, fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I can consider a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord. Unconditionally, Shikshastika Ki Jai.